Hello, everyone. I am Manuel from OXI Instruments, and we are here this year introducing the OXI One mkII, which is the iteration of our previous sequencer. And so, yeah, in case you didn't know the OXI One already, it's a sequencer. Oops, music or no music? It's a sequencer, really compact. As you can see in the video, it's quite small for what it can do. So it has 8 outputs, 8 CV outputs, 8 gate outputs, has integration with modular, with all kind of modular, has clock output, obviously, MIDI, one MIDI port that can be enhanced with our split for having more outputs, up to 6 outputs, 96 MIDI channels. And all right, and this new version comes with 8 tracks, which is the main reason that we are releasing it. Because in the previous version, some people complain, oh, I don't have enough tracks. So now you have 8 full sequencers, which allows you to have up to 64 tracks if you configure them in multi-track. So every sequencer can be configured in a different mode. For example, in this one, in the case of the bass line, I'm using a mono sequencer. I'm using a chord sequencer to play some stuff for me. I have another mono sequencer to play the melody, multi-track, and then we have polyphonic, which is where you can draw several notes per step and having all the parameters per note the same as in the other modes. And then we have 2 extra generative modes, which are the stochastic and matricial. Really quickly, I'm going to show you how the stochastic looks, something like this, where you set the probability per note. So it's kind of more generative mode. And then lastly, matricial, which is full generative mode, where you can separate the different parameters of a sequence in different, so the parameters of a sequencer are separated from each other, allowing you to create complex and evolving patterns with very little information. Like, for example, you have a 7-step trigger, but 3-step node, 7-step velocity, whatever combination of all that, and that allows you to create very interesting ideas. So, what is new in this sequencer, apart from the 8 tracks? Now we have kind of we have freed some of these buttons, of the function buttons, and that allows us to incorporate new features. For example, the performance mode. Performance mode, the idea behind it, for me, was to have an overall view where you can interact with all the sequencers at once. For example, you can see here we have the triggers of the multi-track, which are in sequencer 4. I can have all the triggers, sorry, the mutes. I can access them directly from here. In mono, since we only have 1 track, the mute will be here, and the other surface is used to transpose the sequencer up and down, to shift it. I mean, depending on the mode, you have different tools to interact with it. In multi-track, we also have fields, and we have a kind of a looper. So the performance layout is very interesting, and we will keep improving it and coming with new ideas. But this is like the first iteration of this view. Secondly, we have the modulation page. In the OXI One, it's very easy to play with the modulation. You can draw, as you can see, and you have up to 8 modulation lanes per sequencer. So you can have up to 64 modulations at the same time. What is interesting about the modulations here is that they can be independent from the sequence. So they can go faster, slower. They can have any number of steps you want, up to 800, up to 128. Modulations can be used to also to be output by CV. So you can plug into your E-rack, into modular. You can use them to send CC data, pitch bend, and even control internal parameters of the device. So, for example, you can control with a modulation lane the velocity, the number of repetitions, the velocity of the arpeggiator, all kind of things. Very, very cool. You see, you access them like this, and you can enable them, disable, play with them, draw them. Very interesting. I mean, this was already existing in the previous version, but now you have 8 per sequencer. Then another new feature, the generator. Generator is a great way to come with new ideas, and I'm going to show you really quickly how you can come up with patterns really, really fast. Let's see if we have sound. Can you give me sound, please? All right. If I put some notes here. So you get the idea, right? You enter some notes, and then it creates a pattern from the notes you have input, and also creates variations for you. But what is the most interesting thing for me, and I'm gonna jump straight in, is the new repetition engine. So previously you can play with ratchets per step. So you could set the amount of ratchets you want per step. Let's see. You can hear the ratchets, okay? But now you can select how long the repetitions last in number of steps. So now we have 3 repetitions in 2 steps, 3 repetitions in 3 steps, and we can go crazy and say, okay, I want 7 repetitions in 4 steps. Or 7 repetitions in 6 steps, which kind of gets out of the grid, actually. And we can play with the velocity groove of these repeats. And we can play also with the acceleration or deceleration of the steps. Copy this step and create a groove like this. Now I change a little bit the number of steps and the duration and see how it sounds. You see, very nice way of creating grooves really easily without having to trim, like in a DAW, every note. Like with the scissor, and chirurgically you just go straight and select the number of repeats you want, you play with the groove and all that. And there is another interesting feature, which is I can set these repetitions to only happen if I press the flow button. I also set this note to play only with when I press the flow button, and it will be something like this. This is really, really great to create this kind of tuplets and rhythmical ideas that get out of the grid in a simple way. Another way to play with the repeats is getting into the repeat view. Like you see, right? You have now 5 repeats in 3 steps, or in 2. I can remove this step. I can add another one here. Say I want 3 repeats in 3 steps. And now I can globally also go here and play with the groove velocity of all them. Yeah, super nice and fun to play with. We also have another way to adding grooves to our tracks, which is the new groove page. We select the groove we want from a list of grooves from factory, but you also can create your grooves from our new app. And select the one you want, and you can independently select the amount of groove in time and on velocity. So let's quickly see how. Okay, I have some swing. So let me remove the swing. Now they are straight notes, perfect. And I can add. You see the groove? This is time groove. So it kind of syncopates the notes. But I can remove a little bit the time groove and add more accent. And there you go. And the groove in this case is 16 steps. I can shorten the sequence. And you see it now have 7-step sequence, but a groove of 16, and that creates this kind of dynamic movement. Wait, so an extra, I'm forgetting something, and it's, I think, the accumulators. Very interesting feature. So let's play with accumulators really quickly. So there is an extra page in the mono track, which is the accumulator, and we can create things like this really fast. Remember, we have the groove enabled. It's still here. So what this does, it accumulates the beats. And what I can do is set different accumulators per step. And I can set another accumulator here, but say only one to play when I press flow. And to make it more obvious, I'm gonna set them to flow, all them. So we don't have accumulators now, and when I press flow, we can continue jamming. And I'm gonna add some more steps to the stabs. And I'm gonna say that these repeats only play when I press flow. I can let flow. I get back to my arrangement and I'm gonna do a transition to another track. Thanks. Well, thanks for coming and showing our new device, and hope you like the features and the demo. And see you in the booth if you want to ask any questions or say something to us. It would be great to see you there.